The envelope was thin, too light for what it carried. He slipped it into my hand like a secret. No eye contact, just that slight brush of paper against skin. "Don't open this here. Go home. Pack a bag." His voice was low, urgent. I remember blinking at him, my wife's boss. Crisp suit, smile polished like glass. "Excuse me?" I muttered. He leaned in. His breath smelled faintly of whiskey and mint. "You have 24 hours. Then he was gone. The company's anniversary party carried on in soft music and laughter. I watched him disappear into the crowd, his hand brushing against my wife's back as he passed her. She laughed, touched his arm. I felt something shift inside me then. Not anger, not jealousy, a quiet alertness, the kind that wakes a soldier before the first bullet flies. She looked radiant that night. Blue dress, hair curled just enough to look careless. She caught me watching her and smiled, that familiar half-smile that once meant us. Now it looked like a curtain pulled over a lie. When we got home, she was drunk enough to forget I existed. She fell asleep in our bed without saying goodnight. I stood by the window, the envelope still in my hand. The city lights reflected off it, white, sterile. I opened it slowly. Inside, a single photograph, a hotel receipt, and a note. Room 804. Check in under E. Rivers. 4 nights. Paid in cash. My wife's handwriting on the thank you line. And below that, in black ink, "You deserve the truth. R." At first, I told myself it was a mistake, coincidence, misunderstanding. She'd mentioned business trips, conferences, networking events that required staying closer to the venue. Maybe she'd shared a room for cost efficiency. Maybe it was innocent. I repeated the word innocent like a prayer I didn't believe in. She made coffee the next morning, hummed a song, asked about my sleep. Her tone was light, practiced. "Good," I lied. When she kissed me goodbye, I noticed a faint smudge of lipstick on the inside of her wrist. Not her usual shade, someone else's. I stared at it long after she left. The photograph from the envelope showed her from behind, walking into the lobby of the Grand Ellison Hotel. Her hand in someone's. The man's face half turned away, but I knew him. Her boss. R. The same man who had given me the envelope. I thought about that all day. His calmness, his words, the way he looked at me like he already knew how this would unfold. Was it guilt, pity, or something worse? Some twisted act of conscience before the storm? That night she came home late again, said the meeting ran long. She smelled like hotel soap. I smiled. "Long day?" She smiled back, unaware. The longest. We sat together in silence. Her phone buzzed once on the counter. She didn't check it, but I did. R. Can't stop thinking about last night. A message half hidden by the preview bar. She turned her head just in time to see me looking. And for the first time, I saw it. The flicker, the panic, the tiny, precise fracture behind her eyes before she forced a laugh. "Work stuff," she said. "You wouldn't understand." She was right. Not yet. I didn't confront her. Not that night, not for weeks. I became quiet, measured, a man observing his own life from a distance. I tracked her routines, the time she left, the time she returned, the little inconsistencies, a changed password, a missing earring, receipts she threw away instead of filing like she used to. The smallest details screamed the loudest. I installed a hidden tracking app on her phone, not for revenge, for truth. The data came slowly at first, a meeting here, a lunch there. Then the pattern emerged, afternoons that bled into evenings. Same address, the Grand Ellison Hotel, room 804, every Thursday. Her explanations were airtight, work dinners, client reviews, sometimes even female mentorship sessions. She built lies with the precision of an architect. But every architect forgets one flaw, one crack in the foundation. Hers was time. On the third Thursday, she claimed a 2-hour presentation delay. The tracker said she never left the hotel until 11:47 p.m. I sat in my car that night, parked across the street from the Ellison, watched the lights go out, one window at a time. When room 804 went dark, I didn't feel heartbreak, only clarity. I could have confronted them right then, burst in, made a scene. But what good are flames when you can burn quietly? I needed proof. Irrefutable, unbreakable proof. The next morning, I called a friend, a private investigator I once helped out of a financial mess. He owed me. Within a week, I had everything. Photos, logs, video stills, audio recordings of her laughter, her voice saying, "He'll never know." She was wrong. I knew. I knew everything. The package arrived on a Thursday morning, a plain manila envelope, much like the one that started it all. Inside, 22 photographs, time-stamped, each one colder than the last. My wife, her boss, room 804. Different nights, same story. The final image, her asleep on his chest, his arm around her like possession. Something in me went silent then, not broken, not enraged, just emptied. When she came home that evening, I was waiting at the table. I'd made dinner, her favorite. Music low, candles lit. She smiled, surprised. "What's the occasion?" I slid the envelope across the table. A gift. She looked confused, then opened it. Her hands trembled before her face did. The photographs slipped from her fingers, scattering across the floor like discarded memories. "I can explain," she whispered. I nodded once. "I know you can. You always can." Tears came, real ones, but I stayed calm, watched her collapse into them. She reached for my hand. I didn't move. "I'm sorry," she said, voice shaking. "It wasn't supposed to." "I know," I interrupted quietly. "You never meant for me to find out." That's when she broke, completely. And for the first time, I saw her without the mask. Small, frightened, trapped by her own lies. The next morning, I packed my things, just enough to disappear quietly. I left her the house, the car, the life she'd built on deceit. But before leaving, I made one final call, to her boss. He answered on the second ring. "R?" Silence. Then, "I was wondering when you'd call." "You gave me the envelope," I said. "Why?" A pause. "Because I couldn't end it. I thought you deserved the chance to." "So you used me for your confession?" He sighed. "I wanted out. She didn't." I let the silence stretch until it became unbearable. "She will now," I said, and hung up. That evening she texted me over and over, begged me to come home, said she'd end it, change everything, start over. I sent one message back. "You have 24 hours." The same words her boss had whispered to me. Only this time they meant something else. A countdown to nothing. It's been 6 months. I live 3 cities away now. New job, new rhythm. Silence most days. I still think about the envelope sometimes. How one moment, one thin piece of paper, can split a life into 2 separate timelines, before and after. Before, I was blind in comfort. After, I saw everything. She emailed me once last week, said she's working on herself, said she hopes I'm happy. I didn't reply. Happiness isn't the point. Truth is. And sometimes, truth isn't a light, it's a knife. The last thing I did before leaving that house was fold the original envelope and leave it on her pillow, blank inside. Just a message written across the front in my handwriting: "You have 24 hours." This time she would understand what that meant, because I already had, and I never looked back. Some truths don't set you free. They just remind you who was never worth saving.